Thank you for coming to Homey Deco, where we turn houses into heartfelt homes. Immerse yourself in a world of inspiration, creativity, and timeless style as we explore the art of home decor together. Whether you want to revitalize a room, stay ahead of the latest trends, or design a space that perfectly captures your unique personality, you're in the right place. If you're joining us for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and come along on this enchanting journey of charm, elegance, and the transformative magic of beautiful living spaces. Spring Boho Glam Home Makeover. Vintage-inspired decor ideas by Lulu and Georgia. As spring's gentle light spills through linen-draped windows, the home's vintage treasures and bohemian glamour entwine to create an atmosphere of timeless elegance. Each softly layered velvet hue and antiqued brass accent beckons the heart to wander into a sanctuary where romantic nostalgia blooms in every corner. The entryway greets visitors with Boho Glam and vintage-luxe style by Lulu and Georgia. A blush velvet pouf rests atop a layered jute runner, while a brass console table displays a ceramic vase of spring peonies and eucalyptus sprigs. Above, a circular rattan mirror reflects soft, natural light, and an aged brass chandelier casts delicate shadows on whitewashed walls. The tufted sage velvet bench sits beside woven baskets filled with ferns and trailing ivy, evoking spring freshness. Antique brass sconces illuminate the layered textures of distressed plaster, while terracotta pots with climbing roses add nostalgic charm. Every surface is bright, elegant, and immaculate, emphasizing a clean, modern yet cozy atmosphere. This welcoming first impression elevates joy and mood like spring Boho Glam decor, vintage-inspired entryway design, and Lulu and Georgia home makeover. The sun-drenched living room unfolds like a bohemian haven bathed in spring radiance. An ivory linen sofa is draped with a tufted blush velvet throw and adorned with velvet and embroidered pillows, each layered atop a signature Lulu and Georgia Kilim rug in muted pinks and golds. Floor-to-ceiling windows flood the space with golden light, highlighting a rattan-framed accent chair and a velvet armchair in dusty rows beside a tall fiddle leaf figure. A sleek marble mantle topped with cascading eucalyptus garlands is flanked by brass candlesticks, while a hammered brass mirror reflects crystal chandelier prisms. Polished concrete floors gleam under vaulted ceilings, marrying modern minimalism with vintage-inspired glam. This living room exudes spring Boho Glam living, vintage-inspired home decor, and Lulu and Georgia style for refined, elegant comfort. dining nook becomes an alfresco-inspired tableau where spring florals meet vintage chic. A handcrafted oak table with splayed legs is set for two with gold-rimmed glassware, blush linen napkins tied with dried lavender sprigs, and brass utensils atop woven jute placemats. Woven rattan chairs with velvet cushions in rose and teal surround the table, while a blush-hued runner cascades along the tabletop. Above, a brass chandelier draped in delicate beads hovers over a pastel floral mural and frames of antique botanical prints. The polished hardwood floor is softened by a woven jute rug in cream and blush accents. Fresh tulips in a ceramic vase punctuate the scene, creating a spring tablescape bursting with blush, gold, and woven grace. Keywords include spring boho dining, vintage-inspired tablescapes, and Lulu and Georgia decor ideas. In the boho bedroom, layered textures create a sumptuous retreat for spring dreams. A tufted sage velvet headboard anchors a bed dressed in linen sheets, a blush velvet throw, and an eclectic mix of embroidered and woven pillows. Whitewashed oak floors are softened by a patchwork kilim rug in pastel hues, upon which a low platform bed with rattan posts sits beneath a woven wicker pendant lamp. A vintage brass-framed mirror leans in a corner, reflecting pastel ceramic vases of spring blooms and a cascading macrame planter. The brass canopy bed, draped with sheer linen curtains tied in jute ropes, evokes a romantic boho vibe. Sunlight filters through linen drapes, highlighting every pristine detail. SEO-friendly terms include Boho Glam bedroom, vintage-luxe bedroom design, and Lulu and Georgia bohemian elegance. spring hallway captures timeless charm with antique mirrors and brass touches. Whitewashed plank floors are softened by a narrow runner in pastel florals leading toward a slim distressed oak console topped with a ceramic jug of fresh blooms and a brass-framed photograph. Above, a scalloped-edge brass mirror reflects the gentle glow of vintage sconces with frosted shades, casting light on blush-painted walls. A vintage brass hall tree with built-in mirror and a slim console showcase brass candlesticks and dried hydrangea, while antique hooks hold linen coats in soft neutrals. A woven basket of folded throws adds texture without clutter. This serene passageway embodies Boho Glam hallway design, vintage-inspired home decor, and Lulu and Georgia style for an elegant transitional space. The guest room beckons with soft neutrals, linen drapes, and pastel glam. Ivory linen drapes tied with blush velvet ribbon frame a window seat layered with velvet and embroidered pillows atop a whitewashed oak floor. A brass-framed daybed with tufted blush velvet mattress sits beneath a woven jute canopy accented with brass tassels. Beside the bed, brass nightstands hold frosted glass lamps and porcelain dishes of rose petals. A vintage brass dresser displays pastel glazed pottery and a brass-framed mirror, while a Persian-inspired rug in blush, ivory, and muted teal anchors the room. The vaulted ceiling and crystal-beaded chandelier add airy romance. Keywords highlight spring guest room decor, vintage-inspired guest bedroom, and Lulu and Georgia elegant retreat. A romantic reading corner emerges as a tranquil haven with vintage lighting and macrame accents. A rattan lounge chair draped in a blush velvet throw sits upon a plush cream sheepskin rug beside a brass floor lamp with a fringed linen shade. A marble-top side table holds a pastel ceramic mug of tea and an open leather-bound book, while a wall-mounted brass shelf displays pastel pottery and curated vintage volumes. Above, a macrame wall hanging in ivory and gold threads cascades gracefully, echoing patterns in the floral sheer curtains. A woven basket of neatly folded wool throws adds organic warmth. The corner is immaculate, exuding boho glam sophistication, vintage-inspired reading nook design, and Lulu and Georgia charm. The spring tablescape artfully combines blush, gold, and woven grace for a stunning dining experience. A blush velvet runner cascades along an oak tabletop, punctuated by pastel ceramic goblets, brass flatware, and linen napkins tied with dried lavender sprigs. Vintage brass candlesticks hold slender ivory tapers, while a low brass bowl overflows with peonies and ranunculus in shades of blush and ivory. Overhead, crystal drop pendant lights suspended from a brass fixture cast prism-like reflections across a pastel floral wallpaper backdrop. Whitewashed wood planks and a woven jute rug in pastel hues ground the composition in earthy elegance. This artful tableau highlights SEO terms like spring tablescape ideas, vintage glam dining decor, and Lulu and Georgia inspiring design. In the bohemian-inspired bathroom retreat, effortless elegance meets serene luxury. A freestanding vintage clawfoot tub in white enamel stands against blush-painted walls with pastel floral tiles, complemented by a brass floor-mounted faucet and overhead rain shower. A circular brass mirror with hand-hammered detailing reflects a petite crystal chandelier that scatters light across polished white marble floors. A woven rattan stool holds fluffy white towels, and a ceramic tray of pastel bath salts rests on the tub's edge. The marble vanity features a brass faucet, a blush ceramic vessel sink, and neatly folded linen throws in a jute basket below. Every element is curated for a spa-like ambience. Keywords include Boho Glam bathroom, vintage-inspired bathroom retreat, and Lulu and Georgia luxe spa design. Open shelving becomes a curated gallery of old and new, showcasing vintage brass and pastel treasures. Pristine whitewashed wood shelves hold vintage brass candlesticks, pastel ceramic bowls, and woven wicker baskets of linen napkins. Antique books in soft ivory stand beside brass picture frames with sepia portraits, while a vase of spring blossoms in blush and lavender catches sunlight from a nearby window. A brass rod suspends linen aprons tied with jute cords, adding a practical yet decorative touch. A pastel ceramic vase of ranunculus and eucalyptus cascades down, echoed by a vintage kilim rug in muted pink and cream below. The scene radiates spring-inspired shelving design, vintage-inspired decor accents, and Lulu and Georgia curated styling. Spring balcony dreams with whimsical decor and breezy layers, creating an outdoor sanctuary. A wrought iron railing with brass accents encloses pastel-toned decking, where a woven hammock in ivory and blush drapes invitingly. Beside it, a small brass side table holds a ceramic pot of trailing ivy and a pastel glass lantern with a flickering LED candle. Linen curtains in soft cream billow in the gentle spring breeze, framing a view of sunlit treetops. Overhead, a cluster of vintage brass lanterns casts intricate patterns on the decking, while potted palms and ferns in woven baskets add verdant texture. Every element is immaculate, evoking boho glam outdoors, vintage-inspired balcony decor, and Lulu and Georgia romantic style. If this video brought you joy and inspiration, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Until we connect again, keep filling your space with positivity and creativity. We'd love to hear from you, so drop a comment below. Stay inspired and happy decorating.